Alright everybody, so here I am looking at a game between Mora and Tuga. Okay, so these are not like super high level players, but the reason why I want to show this game is because I had somebody reach out to me and they said, hey, they liked my YouTube channel and they want me to grade some of these games from people who are playing like 16 or so different board games, and there's just like a big tournament for being the general best at board games. They kind of took some inspiration from the World Series of board games here in Las Vegas in America. But alright, so not here I'm in Washington DC, but not in Las Vegas. Anyways, here we go. We're gonna look at the games here. So starting out, all extra turns, and the opponent, Tuga, has taken the Temple of Artemis, and then our main player we're looking at, Mora. We're just gonna go to the end of the game and see what they take. So yeah, they're taking 2 extra turns. The opponent's got 2 extra turns. That was a smart pick to take Temple of Artemis first. And we're just going to look at how these players play. I think... Alright, so Tuga is taking a bunch of yellow cards. Mora thinks that brown cards are better. Okay. Now, let's see. Mora gets the Tavern. According to Zeus AI, the Tavern and the Wood Reserve are the best 2 cards. Or not the Wood Reserve, the brown wood that he just barely grabbed are the best 2 cards of age 1. Alright, and with that, able to afford the Great Lighthouse very early, built a Piraeus as well. Tuga getting 12 coins with Temple of Artemis, and it looks like they secured a second science with that move. In the reveal. Tuga had a chance to use the Sphinx to secure themselves start player in the next stage, but gave it to Mora. If Tuga had just not used their extra turn, then they could have just gone first in the next stage anyways, but they would have missed out on that science. Mora gets the first science of age 2. Mora building pyramids. It's a rush. It's a wonder rush move right now from Mora. And then Tuga has 1 extra turn. Mora on their last wonder left is an extra turn, and that's a scary position to be because you're afraid your opponent might pull a Sphinx then a Mausoleum situation where you don't get to end up building one of the top 3 wonders. Alright, so we are looking at Tuga pushing in military enough to break one of the 2 coin of Mora. This is the base game, so those 2 points are out there. Mora pushing back, got that archery range. Nobody wants to ever buy the 3 gold costing military. That ends up getting discarded almost all the time, I see. Mora has a huge point lead, so Tuga builds Sphinx to get some points, and then builds Mausoleum instead of... they get... Instead of securing a progress token, they just don't go for progress tokens, I guess. So it looks like these newer players may not be so savvy with using science. Okay, finally a progress token not gained from library. Tuga's Great Library got pulled off early game, and actually they got masonry from that. Now they've earned it with 2 double science symbols. They've got strategy. Mora getting way more points than our Tuga opponent throughout this age 3, and even in age 2 they had so many points. So it's looking like if Tuga doesn't use strategy to beat Mora, then Mora just has the game, and that looks like to be the case looking at how many the cards are left. Yep, Mora needed that military to save himself. I mean, no, they didn't really need it. They would have been fine either way, but they kind of were forced to pick that. They still would have won either way, because there was a free military right underneath it. Yeah, I'm thinking that Mora has this one in the bag, and yeah, ultimately we ran through that one pretty quickly, but yeah, I didn't have too many comments on that game. So let's go to the next one in this tournament. Alright, so the next one we're looking at is the Campeonato Nacional MMA Seven Wonders Duel version. Okay. The tournament administrator was Godatuga, so Godatuga made it pretty far, but that was Godatuga's final game. They actually got taken out at that point. And now we're going to look at Nuno Morna, continued on, and then faced Alfarinha. Okay. We're going to view this game replay, also from Nuno Mora's perspective. Alright, and then we're going to look at the Wonders setup. So, Nuno Mora, once again, not being first player, which has a, 33% chance of winning if you're not first player. Very difficult. So in 3 games, you're going to only win one of them. That's kind of scary. Your opponent winning double times than you will win. Anyways, so Alfarinha did not pick Piraeus. They left Piraeus for our buddy Nuno. So obviously Piraeus and Sphinx are going to be picked, and then Colossus by Alfarinha. Oh, and then Nuno Mora gets first pick of the only extra turn, so they're a 3-1 extra turn advantage. Nuno Mora not going to start though. Interesting, Alfarinha sees Law and says, I'll go for Science. Nuno Mora instantly grabs the Wood Reserve, or not the Wood Reserve, the Brown Free Wood, which is apparently the second best card in the game. I disagree. I think the Wood Reserve is the best card, that gold one, but they've been ignoring it up until now. Nuno Mora finally grabs it, but why? You already have Wood. I guess to deny your opponent the ability to get wood, just spend those 3 coins right in the beginning of the game, and then all your discards for the rest of the game are going to give you 1 extra coin. That's going to easily pay for any wood that you'll need. Yeah, I don't understand the reason to grab for the wood. Perhaps they are hoping to do a wood monopoly, but if you're going for a wood monopoly, why would you allow Alfarinha to grab a wood? Well, They gave Alfarinha a chance, and Alfarinha went for a Science once again. A bad starting turn, I would say. Grabbing a Science is the first option, and then another bad starting turn. I mean, you had 2 reserves there, and there's 3 reserves in Age 1. You need to grab as many of them as you can, and you also need to apparently grab the Tavern. I thought the Tavern was the worst of the 3 in the base game, and then the expansion of the Tavern was the best. But according to Zeus AI, for this game, it's saying that the Tavern is the best, and I just said all 4 yellow cards were S tier. They were the best, but with Wood Reserve being the best, but actually Tavern is the best. And even in the base game though, well, anyways, rant over. Let's look at first blue card has been taken by Nuno Mora. It looks like in the second age Nuno Mora really starts hammering down on those blue cards, whereas players like myself might wait until Age 3 to really decide, hey, let's go build our blue cards and let's go for a point strategy, which is going to be a Wonder Rush. Nuno Mora in Age 2 already builds all their wonders, goes for a Wonder Rush strategy, and Alfarinha has kind of been rocked a little bit in military throughout this game as I was talking, but that means they're going to go first in the next stage, and they have all 3 of the basic non-mausoleum military wonders. Because remember, I consider mausoleum as a military wonder. But they have all of the ones that give direct shields, don't need to rely on the discard pile. So I think Alfarinha has a chance. If they use their extra turn wisely, they could maybe eke out a military win. It looks like they try to when they have a flip in Age 3. That initial flip of 2 cards happens, and they didn't get the military, but they did get a Science. So they have 5 of 6 Science, so it's a red-green versus blue situation here, and Alfarina grabbing 3 shield for only 2 coins. Nuno Mora ignoring it and just doubling down on points. Why not push in military? I guess that's fine. Nuno Mora has to reveal 2 cards to the opponent. Hopefully doesn't reveal the science that they would cause them to lose. Nuno Mora got lucky and the opponent never actually had that final science revealed. Is it in the discard pile? Doesn't look like it, so I might have missed that, but it was a close game. Nuno Mora may have lost in science, but as it stands, this is going to be a hilariously high differential in points, 35 to 69. You don't see that happening too often unless you have somebody trying to balance 2 different things, science and military, against you. Yeah, at that point it was over. Alfarina was toast, and they couldn't get that final science. And the struggle for military, that if your opponent has 3 shields, good luck. It's going to be very difficult for you to try to beat them in military, because it's a tug of war. So there's only so many shields in the game. If they grab 3 in the base game, 3 shields, unless you've got a bunch of military wonders. That's why I was thinking Alfarina may have had a chance at winning in military. But yeah, unless you have a ton of military shields, you're not going to be winning in military if your opponent gets that 3 shield threshold. If you see the opponent grab 3 shields, maybe go for science or points to win, but you're probably not winning in military. Especially when each of you have a military wonder, but I don't think that was the case there. I don't think there was a mausoleum. All right, so here's the situation. The tournament is almost over, and I told this guy that I would go to Tuga. I think we saw him play the first game. I told him that I was going to be helping out and with this tournament and reviewing some of the games. So I've done my part. I've reviewed 2 games from players that are very good at a general broad spectrum of games, and seeing the different moves that they made. It looks like fairly basic ones. Maybe I will look at one more game and I'll focus on things that a newer player could learn from, and like why those are bad moves. That's kind of how I'll focus the next one. So I'm going to view this game replay right here between Okram and Samnidi. All right, I'll look at Okram. Okram was the winner. So Okram is the second player. We see a lot of second players winning this. So Samdi starts taking Piraeus. Piraeus is the better choice, so that was a good call. I say Okram should take Great Library and Hanging Gardens, unless Okram thinks that they can utilize Law and get a victory. But I think there's theology potential for Great Library, there's economy potential for Great Library, and there's just so much goodness in the non-revealed progress tokens. Great Library is the answer. And strategy, it's not there. So we're going to watch to the end of this game, and any glaringly bad moves I see, I'll just call them out. But this is just helping new players. This is generally how new players are probably going to play. You are good at games. I'm talking to you. You're good at games, but you're trying to learn. So the first turn, Okram says, I'm going to go for a science. I see Law out there. Maybe I should go for a science. No. That was wrong. You should have grabbed the Wood Reserve. Wood Reserve is the best. Apparently Tavern's the best. Pick a yellow card if you see a yellow card. Okram takes a yellow card, finally. They didn't have very good options. Most people would agree to a red and a blue. What I'm not seeing from these players is missing up basic mistakes of taking red cards early game. So at least they've been briefed on that. Now, some people think you need to build a Great Lighthouse very early. They just built Great Lighthouse. The Okram's opponent, Samdi, did. Great Lighthouse is not one you normally want to build in Age 1. You might want to build it at the very end of Age 1. Nah, I'd say just... There's nothing really that you would build that needs wood, stone, or clay in Age 1. In Age 2, you might need it. And so we're going to see how often... Now, I just want to point out, Okram did get the double science through a linking symbol, and now they grabbed a Law. So it looks like this might be a science win from Okram. Okram also pushing in red, so they're juggling red and green, which sometimes loses you a science. in age 2. Okay, got another linking symbol, and they went for making their wonders cheaper, and that's a good call because they didn't have any gray resources. They just barely grabbed one. And if you're lacking in gray resources and your opponent has all the gray resources, unless you get one of the 2 yellow cards in age 2 that gives you a gray card, like Sandy just barely did, then it's going to be very difficult to build your wonders, because all the wonders except for Piraeus use gray cards. Alright, so taking Architecture I think was a good move, but we're going to focus on possible bad moves. So you don't have 4 science. Okram, you need to find a way to grab 4 science. Samdi's going to deny it with their final extra turn, using Piraeus to secure the wheel that they needed to get a progress token. Samdi ended up getting that strategy through Great Library. That was a key move, and Okram probably was thinking, oh shoot, I need to watch out for a military push right now, and pushed already in the beginning. Samdi really going hard in points, so it's going to be Okram needs a science victory here. They can't get it, though. They can't get a science victory unless it's from the discard pile. So how are they going to pull this off? I don't think they have a chance at winning. So they're going to push in military. Now military is even. Okram has only gained 2 coins from that move. They only had 1 wonder built. Okram takes another military, pushing 2. Oh my dear gracious. Samdi really doubling down in points. Okram spending 6 whole coins to get another military, pushing 2 more. And it looks like there's a 3 at the very end of the line. They may be able to pull off something. They definitely discard that science because they're hoping to really get a military win. They have 1 extra turn. They use the Colossus to get another 2 push in military. And now they have what they need if they build Hanging Gardens. They do build Hanging Gardens, and with the final card of the game, they were able to secure a military victory. That was a sweet game. Very enjoyable to watch that one, I tell you what. Alright, it looked like they were going to go for a science type of win there, but and by taking law, you put your eggs in one basket, hoping to win in science and forfeiting other benefits. Wow, that really came down to the wire. With only 4 coins left, they were able to have what they needed. Good thing they had Architecture over there. Okay, I'll stop zooming in because I heard that makes people sick, but what a crazy game. And to think that they didn't even need to use Mausoleum. That's a very expensive one. They've used Colossus, and they needed to use Hanging Gardens to get the coins they needed to secure that final 3 military shields. And so that was very crazy. So a really common move that happens when players grab strategy is they think, I'm okay. I don't need to grab too many military cards. I don't need to grab as many. You still need to grab a lot of military cards. It's not normal to win in military. So it doesn't become normal to win in military or even drop into your basket of possibilities unless you try for it, even if you have strategy. So if you're going for this huge, long line of blue, you're not going to be winning in military. And yeah, by using Piraeus at the very end of H2, they made it so it was very difficult for them to win in military because they had no extra turns. They couldn't pilot themselves through H3. So anyways, we'll end on that. That was a great game from this tournament. The tournament's not over, but this may be the only video I do of it just because I'm running out of time in life to be able to do videos. But I'm glad I've been able to have some time this week to pull some together for you. And thanks for reaching out for this tournament, and I'm glad I was able to get some coverage for it. And if anybody else has any cool things that they've set up, explain to me the tournament setup and why it's important to the the board gaming culture and the culture of Seven Wonders Duel. And I'll do my best to review it like this with the time I have. But wow, what a cool game to end it on. I didn't even know that this would be the final game, but you do not see that every day when somebody uses strategy and doesn't actually go for it. It doesn't grab any military, and then just loses to military. I pulled it off. Anytime I pull it off, I feel so smart, because it's like, oh no, I'm worried about strategy. I'll be taking all the military from here on out. And then if you keep that way of thinking up, you might lose in points. But if you can eke out a military win like that came out of nowhere. If you look at the replay, just rewind this video maybe 5 minutes, you'll see that push from the very beginning was right in the middle, and then just boom, 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 just 9 across. What, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, 9 shields they grabbed in age 3, plus 2 from Colossus. Yeah, or maybe that was part of the 9. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and take care.